This is the farmhouse where I grew up, where my father grew up, where my grandfather grew up, where my great-grandfather grew up. The main house was built in 1860. We got electricity in 1943 with the Rural Electrification Act. And now what I am doing is I'm removing the majority of the 1960 updates and reverting the era back to somewhere between 1920 and 1950. I'm going to show you each room in the order that I did them years ago. While I am no more of a carpenter or a designer than any member of my family has ever been, I'm doing it to suit me and my tastes. It seemed like there was a directive at work to get rid of everything that was World War II vintage. So as you can see here, they had these really nice steel cabinets with a workspace on top, and they were getting rid of just pallets of them. So what I did was I put a bid in on the private auction that they had, and I picked them up, 2 of them, for $75 a piece. Then I loaded them in my truck one at a time, brought them home, and by myself jockeyed them down into the cellar, and they're set up as you can see right now. Here you can see the door assemblies that came with them. Some of them, the doors were never even installed, so they were brand new. Because they were just formed sheet metal and were never designed to be mouse tight, and my cellar does have some mice, being an old farmhouse, I proceeded to either spray foam or caulk all the spots that mice could get in. And there is a bunch of them, but they were all eventually sealed. And then the bedrock cellar floor right in front of the 2 cabinets, I put down some concrete to level the area. And then I proceeded to put down some waterproofing cement coating in white, which cleaned up the look of the floor quite a bit. And then if you go back to the first image, you'll notice that we had a bunch of spray cans set on the first bench that we installed. And when they were lifted off, you could see that they had, because of the humidity, they had rusted the top of the cabinet, so that had to be repaired. So all of the rust had to be sanded away with a sanding disc on a radial grinder. Then I used Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer to cover the areas that I had sanded. And then that area was covered with Rust-Oleum machine gray. And finally we got the idea to buy some oilcloth tablecloths and lay them on top of the benches, and then use some Home Depot magnets to hold it in place. And in this last image, you can see my battery backup for my kerosene heater. I've got twin 75 amp hour Optima yellow tops with a 600 watt pure sine wave inverter. And when the power goes off, this unit kicks in and keeps my Toyotomi laser running. And that is how we acquired the metal cabinets and ended up with mouse-proof protected storage.